I'll leave it to Pam.
Thank you.
I will get the copy.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Enjoyed it. Thank you for that.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, Pam. Thank you very much. It's been great. Thank you very much.
Before you go, please. Your new proposals, which you read about in the Independent interview for Scottish football, can you tell us more about that? What the plans are?
No, we've been working on them for some time. Stock a year or so ago. We've been looking at how those are operating and considering in what areas they might be built upon. I have been discussing that with Michael Forsyth for a while. We've pretty much reached conclusions, and very shortly we'll make our announcements. But I've nothing to add further about the detail today.
You can't tell us what?
To set out the announcements before we're ready to make them, but you won't have long to wait.
To talk to you about Ireland, what plans now do you have for getting peace talks going again with Mr. Bruton?
Over the last few days, last few weeks in fact, I've had a number of meetings all the issues, and a number of meetings with opinion formers in Northern Ireland and the party leaders in Northern Ireland. We've finished our consideration of that matter. I'm now putting forward some proposals that I would hope Mr. Bruton will have very speedily.
When do you think there'll be a summit meeting?
Well, I will put these proposals to Mr. Bruton. We will then look for an early summit date. I hope it won't be too long.
On the prisoner release, Sinn Féin are saying they're less than impressed. They're saying this is no concession from the British government. It's going back to what
Sinn Féin have been taking a very hard line in negotiations for some time. What Sinn Féin have been saying about seeking peace, I very much hope is true. I hope they mean what they have been saying. But as I said the other day in the House of Commons about punishment beating, Sinn Féin have a long way still to go. Now, I hope that we will be able to get Sinn Féin into talks with the other parties. That has been the intention from the beginning. But Sinn Féin too are going to have to accept that they have to make concessions. It isn't possible to enter into negotiations with a private army at your back. They must realise that that isn't the way to get into democratic politics. So we've set out proposals. We'll be discussing
A standing committee on the asylum bill.
Well, I'm considering that matter. I'm very concerned to make sure that this does not become an issue remotely related to race. It is not a matter concerning race. What concerns me is that we have proper asylum procedures. There's no doubt there's been abuse of the asylum system, and I think it is necessary to put that abuse right for a large number of reasons. What I do not want is to give anyone else the opportunity to turn a proper and necessary debate upon asylum into a debate generally about race. So I'm considering how best to avoid that, and I'll reach a conclusion very shortly.
And the lottery finance, did you think a year on board any changes?
Well, Parliament set out legislation for the lottery, and Parliament considered how it should be dealt with, and decided, for example, that ministers, I think properly, shouldn't be directly responsible for the disbursement of resources. What has happened in the last year is that the lottery has been hugely successful, far more successful, I think, than almost anybody imagined. And the impact of that is that what we can look forward to in the future, in each of the 5 areas of the lottery, sport, arts, heritage, charities, and the Millennium Fund, of something around £300 million a year for each of those 5 good causes. Now, if you stretch that forward over the next few years, imagine what could have been done either for sport, new facilities for our youngsters and other matters, or for the arts, if we had had £300 million a year for the last 10 years. Consider what could have been done. Now, that is going to be the position in the future. So the lottery has been the most enormous success, and it will change the opportunities for leisure and for pleasure for literally tens of millions of people in this country.
Mr. Major?
So with the interview in the Independent, are you just trying to restore the Conservatives in Scotland rather than actually proposals?
I'm very concerned about the Labour Party's proposals for Scotland. I think they're profoundly flawed. The damage of the Labour Party's proposals, I believe, is that they will open up the possibility of separatism in Scotland. And I think that is profoundly damaging. But I do understand the concerns of Scotsmen that Westminster seems a long way away from Scotland. I And I've no doubt that that is a genuinely held feeling in Scotland, and I think one needs to try and address that, and that's what I'm seeking to do.
Does that mean devolution?
No, it doesn't mean devolution in the sense of a devolved parliament, certainly not. The flaw in the Labour Party's proposals is the flaw I outlined just a moment or so ago, that it sets up, firstly, a platform from which there could be a separatist Scotland, and secondly, sets up circumstances in which there is likely to be conflict between Scotland and other parts of the United Kingdom. Now, both of those things are damaging. The third damage of Labour's proposals is that it would certainly mean that the levels of taxation are higher in Scotland than elsewhere in the United Kingdom. And what that means for Scotland is that it will get less inward investment generally, less jobs and less prosperity. And that is not good for the future of Scotland. And it is to address those problems that we've looked again at what we might do.
Hey, Minister.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Can you do me a favour? He's just leaving now. We can't actually get out with the tape. Can you ring Kathy again? What time is it now? What time is it now?
How did Mr. Major react to your performance?
Oh, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. It even brought back quite a lot of memories of his early days for him. And I think there's something very warm and spontaneous about our group of old people and children, which just gets to everybody's hearts. And it was probably rather nice for him to have an opportunity to see something like that, which is very real, very genuine, and very spontaneous.
Why do you think you deserve all this lottery money?
Well, it's not all this. I mean, we've got £50,000 to do essential repairs to our building where the roof's leaking, and to buy some theatre lights and sound equipment, and that £50,000 we need, and we're very glad to have it to improve the facility for the community to use our buildings.
Why do you think John Major is so keen on nostalgia and the old days?
Well, I think he's quite keen that I think a lot of people following the 50-year anniversary of the war have got a new awareness of the fact that a lot of the people whose memories it would be a shame to lose won't be with us very long, and it's important to record those memories in books, in theatre, in film, in any way that we can. And I think he was sympathetic to that idea, and that's why perhaps he selected this project to come and have a look at. It's a very popular and populist project, and we just work with ordinary working people. We're not interested in the rich and the famous, we're interested in ordinary people's lives.
Can I ask you that one again? Just would you mind mentioning John Major's name in your answer, because otherwise people won't know who you're talking about.
Who are you?
I'm John Gilbert from Channel 1 TV.
Right.
So why is the Prime Minister so interested in nostalgia?
Well, I don't actually use the word nostalgia. I think that's a very inappropriate word because it suggests that you're sweetening your view of the past. And in the presentation we've just given to the Prime Minister, there were some very sad moments of loss and pain and hardship, as well as some more jovial moments. And I think he was very interested in it because he liked the genuineness of the old people's personal reminiscences. And I think it's very important that those reminiscences are restored and retained and recorded and made more available to young people as well, so they learn about the past through ordinary people's memories and not just those of the rich and famous.
And that's Pam Schweitzer, Artistic Director of
Age Exchange Theatre and Reminiscence Centre, which is a registered charity.
Thanks very much. I think John Major has become so interested in nostalgia and the old days recently.
I don't know. It can be. It shows. I don't know the reason. I don't know what he feels about it,
But he's, you saw him marching around during V-Day and V-Day Day, and now he's here.
Well, he said, I think he thinks that these memories should be kept alive, because when this generation have gone, like ourselves, there's no one to pass on the memories. So he thinks, as we do here, that it's very important to keep the memories going with people that are now able to bring them to life before they just filed away forever, because our people now are keeping younger older, if you like, and the older people are still active enough to be able to talk about them and get around and perform the memories.
Does this place really deserve £50,000 of lottery cash?
Oh yes, having a great social life. We're all in the cast, and we all get together. We're all friendly, and we all do drama. It's all
I play football with my friends, but they didn't give me £50,000.
Now there's lots more going on than that.
You're not realising that we send out cases that go to hospitals and schools, which are reminiscence cases, also seeing our dementia when they see things. I mean, there's a lot of training groups that go on. It's not just this theatre thing. This is a pure sideline. I mean, we are a charity and we do charitable work. Otherwise, they wouldn't give us the money for the lottery.
Do you think it's a bit of a PR stunt?
No, I certainly do not. I don't think he knew anything about this place very much. I mean, we were very honoured to have him here in order for him to see why we had been given this money. I don't think it was anything to do with him being a Conservative or even the Prime Minister at all.
If it wasn't, then why was every television crew in the...
Because when a Prime Minister goes anywhere, then the cameras will follow and so will the interviews.
Because his office faxed us about it.
Oh, I'm sure they would fax you about it, because whatever he does is of interest to the general public, isn't it? So, I mean, he did not come here as a thing to boost conservatism. He came to see what sort of thing the centre was that was getting this money for the lottery and whether he thought we deserved it, which I'm not sure whether you think we do.